Welcome to our flipped classroom, where math knowledge makes things easier. Today we're going to be learning operation properties. There are 5 videos in this series. This is the third of 5 videos. So after viewing this video, you should have completed 3/5 of the videos in this series. What we'll be learning is based on the Common Core Curriculum Content Standards involving the number system. Specifically the 7th grade standards 7NSA1D, in which we'll apply properties of operations as strategies to add and subtract rational numbers, and 7NSA2C, in which we'll apply properties of operations as strategies to multiply and divide rational numbers. Our first video involved the operation property known as the commutative property. Our second video involved the associative property, and in this video we're going to be focused on the distributive property. The distributive property teaches that you can multiply the sum of two numbers, or you can multiply each addend separately and then add the products. The results will be the same. So when we're multiplying, we could use the distributive property. What we're saying here is that you could either multiply the sum of two numbers, you could add and get a sum, and then multiply, or you could distribute this A to each of the elements inside the parentheses. So in essence, what we're saying is that you're going to multiply A times B, and then you're going to add it to A times C. What we're saying here is that A is being multiplied by everything in this group. So we're going to distribute A to every element in the group. And that's what we're saying here, A times B plus A times C. Let's look at numerals to represent this. If we have 2 times 6 plus 3, well, if we were to add 6 plus 3 first, we would get 9. And 2 times 9 is 18. Let's see if we could use the distributive property and get the same answer. Well, A times B plus A times C would seemingly indicate that you would multiply the 2 by the 6, and then you're going to add it to 2 times 3. That's what we're saying here. 2 times the 6, then you're going to add 2 times the 3. So you're going to multiply each addend separately, the 6 and the 3. We're going to multiply that 2 by each addend, and then we're going to add the products of those two numbers. So 2 times 6 is 12, and 2 times 3 is 6. 12 plus 6 is 18. So we see here that the distributive property works. What if we were dealing with negative numbers? Well, negative 2 times 6 plus 3. Well, again, 6 plus 3 is 9. And negative 2 times 9. If we have a negative times a positive, the answer will be a negative, and 2 times 9 is 18. So negative 2 times 9 will be negative 18. Well, what if we distributed that negative 2 to the 6 and to the 3? We would have negative 2 times 6, and then we'd be adding negative 2 times 3. Well, a negative times a positive would give us a negative, so negative 2 times 6 would give us negative 12. And negative 2 times positive 3, and negative times a positive would give us an answer that's a negative. So negative 2 times 3 gives us negative 6. And if we have negative 12 and we add another negative 6, we could say we're just adding more negatives, or we could say that adding a negative is the same as subtracting. So we have negative 12, we're adding another negative 6, we'll have negative 18. So in this lesson we learned the distributive property, in which we say you could either add what's in the parentheses and then multiply the number that's outside the parentheses, Or you could distribute that number outside the parentheses. If you're multiplying by what's inside the parentheses, you could distribute it to each element inside the parentheses.